What if I don't consent?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I got a message that said
Oh, it's about to
it was
record.
asking if I consent to being recorded.
Oh,
All
like
right,
in
well,
Zoom.
yeah, I
Yeah,
believe we're on. So, hey,
we're on.
folks, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Lifting, Running, and Living with your favorite people, Kelly.
Hello.
Hey, and JK, that's me. If you're wondering what's going on, by the way, we're kicking off episode number 74. We have navigated to a newer podcasting platform, I guess, on the background software
Yes.
sort of deal. So, yeah, we're just navigating that. So that's what was going on in the beginning, if that happens to stay in the episode. So, all right, per the
I'll keep it in
usual,
now.
yeah, might as well. All right. It's been a hot minute as
Been a while.
I don't think the kids say that. I don't think kids
I
say
think
hot
only
minute.
millennials say that.
That's facts. That is facts. Kids say facts though. All right. So it's been a hot minute since we've done updates, and Kelly's got updates. So
I've got updates.
Kelly,
Yeah, because
yeah, update
it's
us.
been like 6 weeks now.
Has it been?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because last
Yeah.
time we had the big topics, the running topics,
Mm-hmm.
and the time before we had Joy on. So we skipped updates.
Oh, snap. You right.
So I know that's
All
why
right.
I've got so many. And by so
Well,
many,
let
I
us
mean
know what you've
three.
been up to. Yeah.
Actually, I've
Let
got
us know what you've
four.
been up to.
Recording
Oh,
this on Monday, March 23rd, and it is my husband's birthday. So we have to say happy birthday,
hey. Happy birthday,
even though
Team
this will
Ty.
come out on Friday.
That's all right. It's
But
all right.
today is his birthday. So very happy birthday.
Shout out
Um,
Normie Ty.
yep, Normie Ty. Normie Carpenter and Climber. Yes. Um, well, he has been talking about potentially needing to start lifting soon, so he might venture into our space.
Okay. He
Yeah.
might join the dark side, huh?
TBD. We'll
Okay.
see. I've been chipping away slowly, not pressing too hard, but planting the little seeds, and seeing how long it'll take.
Got you. Okay. Cool. I like it. I like it. I support that fully.
Yeah. Partially 'cause baseball started. Well, officially it
Mm.
starts this coming weekend, but he started practice. So he's been feeling some soreness and weaknesses. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, so he's like, maybe I should lift for baseball and for his work. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. Anyway, that wasn't part of my updates, but it is something going on.
We won't
Um,
count it against your updates. All good.
thank you. Yeah. So on my first update, I got an Oura Ring a month ago now.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
have a month of using it. For listeners who don't know, I am an on and off Whoop user. So Oura Ring is why are you laughing?
It's just funny. On and off. Yeah.
I am on and off. Well, okay. The Whoop, it gets annoying because you have to wear it on your wrist. And everyone who listened knows I wear my Garmin on my wrist. And wearing
Right.
two wrist items is just annoying. Um, and after a while, my wrist just wants a break from constantly wearing something. However, my finger, not the same apparently. I forget this ring is on. I don't need a break from it.
Okay.
So far, it's only been a month, so it's early reports, but so far I like it a lot. One positive thing that has happened is for some reason, however they present the step count in the app makes me want to reach my step goal. Garmin doesn't make me want to do that. Whoop, their steps were never right. So
Okay.
we've talked about they don't care about that. Yeah, it's weird. I don't psychologically I
Okay.
don't know why, but that's a positive change.
Do
Um,
you think that it has anything to do with it being a newer device for you at all?
I am wondering that
Okay.
because it's only been a month, but
Yeah. Time will tell,
I
maybe a couple more months from now to
yeah.
see.
Well, I think what I like is you set your goal, whatever step count you want, and then based on your readiness. it will increase it or make it your goal, or I haven't had a poor readiness day, so I don't know if it decreases. But like when it says I'm like really ready, it'll do like 20% more than my goal. Because it's like
Oh,
you're so recovered and ready to do activity. Try to hit more steps.
okay.
So that's kind of cool, like the fluctuation
Yeah.
aspect of it. Um, I forget what I was gonna say. But yeah, I like the sleep tracking. So far it seems pretty accurate based on what I recall when I wake up in the morning. Um,
When you say accurate, what is like what seems accurate for you?
so I feel like when using Whoop in the past, I would definitely wake up in the middle of the night and Whoop would not register that I woke up. But with
Mm.
Aura, if I wake up, I'll see the little awake sliver.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I asked that for clarification just because
That's fair. I have no
people can
idea about like
anticipate
REM and deep
more
sleep.
accuracy better than others. Yeah. So that's helpful to know. Okay.
Yeah. It is still calibrating to my baseline, so we'll see in a month or two more how accurate it is. The first couple weeks, I would be like sitting on the couch at the end of the day, and it would be like, "Are you taking a nap?" Like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
taking a nap.
I love it when trackers do that. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it hasn't done that since the first week. So I think it was just getting used to like what is my resting heart rate or um, low activity heart rate, you know. Um, but yeah, I like the app a lot. They have a great UI. It's easy to use.
Okay. So far we're thumbs up.
So far, we're thumbs up. Yeah. And
Okay.
so what prompted me to get the Oura Ring is I found out you can use HSA money.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not really
They've
spending
had
my
a
money.
major, yeah, they've had a major bump, a major run on that. And I think if I remember correctly, because for my in real life job, I this is this that falls underneath the category of what we handle. And
Mm.
I want to say that this was part of the one of the strategic things that the Make America Healthy Again movement was working towards because they had actually
Oh.
even yeah, I want to say like early on, RFK had floated the idea of making sure that all folks had access to some sort of wearable or tracker. And then very shortly after, yeah, don't quote me on timelines. However, very shortly after, the Aura was approved for HSA and FSA dollars
Mm.
and reimbursement. And it's been pretty bonkers ever since. Like they've seen some massive, massive uptick since
It
then.
makes sense.
Yeah.
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 I mean, they got me, so.
Yeah.
And the other thing, so obviously, maybe not obviously. So Whoop, you get the device for free, and then if you pay monthly, you pay $30 a month for the app, the tracking, all of that good stuff. Aura, you pay a couple hundred up front for the ring, and then the
Mm,
monthly subscription is like $6. So obviously
mm.
there's a
Okay.
place where the the two overlap where they equal the same, and then like Whoop becomes more expensive, which I have not
Yeah.
mathed out, but I don't know. Um, After making the initial purchase of the ring, it's easier for me to swallow a $6 monthly charge than $30 every month for like ever if I wanted to keep
That's
using it, you
interesting.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The psychology is different. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I like that we'll include that in the updates for a bit here to see how things are going. Are we still thumbs up? Are we neutral or are we on the downturn? So right now we're on the upswing here.
we are on the upswing.
Okay.
Um, and then my second update, which coincidentally I planned on before the Oura Ring, but I've started what I'm calling evening commutes. And I didn't come up with this myself, so if someone heard it somewhere else, so did I. And what I mean by an evening commute, we all know I work from home, so I don't have a commute. So I've started going on a little walk around my neighborhood as my quote unquote commute after work. before making dinner, watching TV, whatever. So I'm trying to do that on pretty much every weekday where I'm not doing a physical activity after work, which is most days. Because one day I lift. Um, so if I'm feeling really ambitious, I will do my evening commute and then lift. But usually I just lift. Um, but it's been
Okay.
really nice, especially with the time change, obviously. It makes things easier, as much as I hate the time change. But having
Fair.
light later, so like I'll go on a walk after this. Um, and yeah, if anyone remembers, it was probably sometime last year. That was like one of my Monday things was to go on a walk after work because it's my rest day. And then Ty would come with me sometimes, but now I'm doing it like 4 days a week at least. Um, and then my goal is on Mondays to have a morning commute as well because I don't run because it's my rest day. So that'll like
Okay.
bookend my work day. And then eventually
Same.
I
That's
want,
stay from running too.
this one I won't call it commute because that wouldn't really make sense. I want to get better about taking like a midday walk because,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes what prompted me to start doing that is I noticed that I would go for my run in the morning and then I would like sit at my desk all day and like obviously I'd get up and walk around when I needed food or like doing some chores like laundry, feeding the cats or something. But then after work was done, I would just like walk into the front room or like walk into the kitchen and make dinner and then go watch TV or like sit with Ty on the couch or something. And I was like, I need to leave this house more and get steps outside of running. So,
Yeah. That's such a solid, just psychological strategy too.
mhm,
I think just to put that space between tasks, because the phrase task switching popped into my head.
yeah.
So to have that, I wholeheartedly co-sign that idea.
I
Did I
thought you
tell you I
might.
used to do that during COVID?
What?
Like when if I would be working out at home. So there were a few times where I was working out in 2020 when gyms shut down, even though I had access to go to the gym if I wanted to. It just didn't feel right, basically.
Right. Yeah.
If other folks couldn't access to it and then I'm in there just doing what I wanted, it just didn't feel right. And
Yeah.
then, so I would either work out at this little clubhouse fitness room that we have in our neighborhood. And
Hmm.
we had like very specific rules, like no more than two people could be there at the same time. So there was like a sign in and a sign out sheet, and you had to bring your own wipes and all this stuff. But it was cool because they kept it maintained. It's like it would basically be like an apartment gym, but very small, like a fitness room. So I'd primarily like go work out there, but sometimes I'd work out here at home. And coincidentally, I didn't have anywhere near like all the equipment that I do now.
Yeah.
But I I was I found it to be a struggle to like get going
Mm.
because I could get up and then
Yeah.
didn't have to go into work quite as early because our hours were adjusted and stuff like that. So I just found myself like dilly dallying and kind of just
Yeah.
taking a while to get started. So what I started doing is I would get up and then like put on my workout clothes and stuff like that, and then I would go for a walk around the block, and
Mm.
then so walk around the block and then walk back into the house like I was walking into the gym, walk downstairs, and then start working out.
Oh, nice.
So
You probably did
what
tell
you
me
just
that.
said like
Yeah.
it just reminded me of that, and just it made such a huge difference just mentally for me
Hmm.
because it was just I was struggling to like actually get going
Yeah.
at all. So
No, that's
yeah,
me every weekend.
I think that's a great idea. Well,
Yeah.
good.
It's
So there you go,
great.
folks.
Yeah.
Steal the idea.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of similar to some of your challenges that you've done with
Mhm.
like accumulating 30 minutes over the day. And we talked about it before, but like knowing that I have to go for my evening commute. Um, it's funny sometimes if Ty's coming with me, he'll be like, "Is it a heavy traffic day or is this like a shorter commute day?" And like depending on how we're feeling. Be like, no, there's no traffic. We're going straight home, which means we're going for a shorter walk.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. You should
Yeah.
be like, "Yeah, actually, I'm feeling a little bit of road rage today, so let's see how that turns out."
Yeah.
That's fun. That's pretty funny. That's good.
Yeah. But
You can
it's
pick
nice
your
because it's like I just got to do it, but it doesn't have to be like at least a mile, you know?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. What else
So,
you got?
okay. So, my final update, I just want to give a little update on my running training because obviously it's been a while. My
Mhm.
March race is this coming Saturday. So, it'll be the day after this
Oh,
comes out. Yeah.
okay.
My 2 miler. Um, so things were going pretty well, and then it must have been 3 weeks ago now, during my deload week, my Achilles started flaring again, which was, yeah, yeah, the face you're making. It was,
Mm,
it was kind of weird, but might make sense. The week before was one of my heavier week in terms of like I had 2 workouts, so there was a lot of intensity. Mileage wasn't anything crazy. It was like low 30s, which I've been used to. But then the start of the deload week was fine, and then towards the end, I took an extra rest day, and then I ran the day after that, and my Achilles hurt like so bad, which was weird because I had like so much more rest that week, and I think I did a workout on Wednesday still, but it was less intensity, less time and intensity. Um, so that was concerning. So I've just kind of been trying to get back from that. Uh, but I feel like the same thing happened last year, if I remember correctly, last winter.
yeah.
So I'm hoping it's just a blip. It's getting better every day. It's just like since it's been unseasonably warm here, I'm
Yeah.
getting in the summer running thoughts, which is when I like to run more, and I'm annoyed that I can't run more right now. But I am hoping that weather-wise we go back to a more seasonal appropriate temperature so that usually this time of year it's just like kind of hard to be consistent and like want to be consistent because it's cold, snowy, randomly warm,
Yeah.
but yeah, for those who don't know, in Colorado it's been like 80 and 90, which is alarming. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, we had, like,
so
2 days of that, and that was it. Now it's back to normal.
interesting. Ours
Yeah, it's
today is
40
back to normal, but it's gonna be 90 on Wednesday again, so yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
Tough life.
Um, yeah. We're surviving. But yeah. Uh I don't think that my Achilles flare is because of Rana before anyone is like, "You're using Rana. Do you think it's that?" I don't. Uh
Yeah.
Mostly because I had this before I started using Rana. It's just been like it's been simmering at the surface, and when you've got something simmering, sometimes you push the envelope and you find out that you've pushed over the edge. And I found out, I think, that I pushed over the edge. So, but I'm
Probably
excited for
need
the
more
race.
strength training.
I've been doing my 2 a week, so I pulled back on plyos for obvious reasons because that hurts.
Yeah. A little foreshadowing for our
Yeah,
topic today.
it's a little
Huh.
foreshadowing. Speaking of
Yeah.
strength training, though, I have added every single strength session. I'm doing eccentric single leg calf raises now because that is one of the things that helps Achilles issues.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm excited. I will be nervous. Um, I'm hoping I can run faster than I did in November, but it feels uh unknown because I feel like this training cycle has been kind of up and down, which isn't really abnormal for this time of year. And normally I'm not training for a race this early. So yeah, I'm trying to also figure out if I like being in like training mode, race training mode this early in the year.
We shall see.
We shall see. Yeah, but
We'll see.
that's the
Cool.
update. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want
Let's
to
see.
share?
It's like those are Kelly's updates. Uh, yeah, mostly full-ish transparency here, folks. I didn't put anything down for updates particularly, just because we're moseying along over here, just
Mm,
keeping it simple. From a training standpoint, I'll talk about training real quick. Excuse me. I think that I mentioned before that from a training standpoint, I started integrating a little bit more, we'll call it like a little bit more of a performance focus to some of my training. Like I was thinking this morning about just some of the differences with some of the movements. So it's not strictly like hypertrophy training. So, for example, a decent amount of the movements that I'm starting to do have an aspect that requires like kind of doing some maneuvering for stability. So, for example, instead of a single arm like machine based row, I'm occasionally doing like a single arm like bird dog row where I'm in like a plank
Ooh.
position on a bench and then kind of off balance and pulling. Decent amount of rotational work that's going on. Doing some landmine work, just freshening things up a little bit and just training a little bit differently, and that's felt pretty good for the most part. Um, Really, when it comes to just my overall training, I don't have anything completely like weird out of the ordinary to report. I'm literally just moseying along, training, typically lifting 4, sometimes 5 days a week, but typically lifting 4 days a week. And then the other days are some form of cardio, whether it be zone two or a little bit more high intensity. We tend to be more of the zone two over here in this house, being me and sticking with really the overall commitment is at the very very base. The commitment is to lift at least 3 days per week, so lifting 3 or more days per week, which I don't think I've done less than 4, but 3 or more days per week. And then um, get in at least one like zone two session, and then get in at least like 10-ish minutes of where my heart rate is like increased. But I've been doing more than that, but I've been thinking more and more about continuing like, okay, we're setting the foundation for what you'd be able to do for as long as you possibly can do it.
Mm.
So what was the other thing I was going to say? So yeah, that's been like the big thing. And I was just having a conversation with somebody recently where we were talking about something. Oh, we were actually talking about business. We were talking about like sales techniques and different things like that, like sales strategies.
Okay.
So, and it will relate to fitness. So we were talking about sales strategies, and I was teaching someone a particular sales strategy. And so what I was sharing with them is that this particular technique or this strategy, the only reason that I'm teaching you this particular strategy is because you've already nailed this other basic, like you are already really really solid in this thing. And
Yeah.
I'll actually share it like super quick. Like the thing, so in the world of sales we talk about features and benefits. So
Mhm.
there's features and then there's benefits. So a feature of something is basically like a specification. It's a spec. It's just a fact. It's something that it has. So for example, it's like this flash drive has 256 gigabytes of storage.
Mhm.
That's a feature. The benefit is that you have plenty of room to preserve all of your memories. You have plenty of room to back up your files so you can feel secure that your stuff is backed up. I'm totally like spitballing off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but that's features and benefits.
Mhm.
Most people who've been in sales, like that's like basic. I don't even think it's like 101. Like you know how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, most people know how to do that. Let me put it that way. But what I was explaining to him is I was teaching him a different strategy. And I was like, the only reason I can teach you this is because we can layer it on top of the fact that you are so consistent and you've already nailed features and benefits.
Mm.
Someone else, I'm still talking with them about how to figure out how to actually consistently, just habitually talk about features and benefits as opposed to what we call spec dumping, where you just talk about it
Ah.
does this, 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 and this. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I was talking to somebody else about this in terms of fitness also with, we were having some casual conversation about, how often when people identify you as like the fitness person, like the fitness girl or the fitness guy or whatever, the gym girl, the gym guy, whatever, one of the
Mhm.
common questions that they typically ask is, so you work out like every day? So it's like, do you run every day or how many miles do you run? Like that sort of a
Yeah.
thing. And so sometimes we were talking about how sometimes people are surprised when we will say, well, I mean, yeah, I do move my body every day. And my commitment for lifting is 3 days per week. They're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
you only lift 3 days per week? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's like to me, that's like features and benefits. So for me, the basic is I'm going to lift 3 days per week.
Mm.
So then since I'm meeting that particular commitment, then that's where I can start playing around with different ways to move my body. So that's where I think about movement, or excuse me, different movements the same way. Like until you can do the basic movement, you don't get into like a bunch of off balance, like,
Yeah.
stuff. You
Uh-huh.
nail the very basic stuff. So that's really what I'm doing with a lot of my training right now is taking the program that I'm given. And then I've just been really kind of remixing a decent amount of it just so that I can move a little bit differently and I'm just having fun with movement these days. Still feeling pretty
Mm.
good about how things are going from a strength standpoint and just yeah, I just feel like I have so many different things that I'm trying to work on that I'm just like I am not trying to like do anything wild and crazy.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to, show up, have a good amount of energy, recover as well as I can. And then we've been navigating like a few travel things here and there. So there's
Mm.
some weeks where to get all my sessions in, I'm training like 4 days in a row, which is not my preference usually. Like usually 3 is like my max.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just fitting in just different things. So that's my update. There we go. So training. That's what's going on from a training perspective. So
Good job.
there you go. All right. I said I'd throw some in there. I figured it out. There we
Yeah,
go.
you did.
Could
Good
always
update.
I could always yap on training. All right. You want
Of
to
course.
speaking of strength, you want to talk about why it's probably time for runners to stop strength training.
Recreational runners only, actually.
I know. Yeah. I feel like I
Yeah.
only hear the term recreational mostly when we're talking about drug use these days, but
Oh,
um,
no, I hear it in the running space a lot.
do you? Okay.
It's like
Well, that's
recreational, sub-elite, and elite are like the categories
oh,
usually.
excuse me. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Mhm.
right. Here, I'll give the context. So, I sent this to Kelly a while back. It was a
Yep.
post that I read on my favorite social media platform, Threads. I enjoy Threads so much, so
I
much.
still have not rejoined, but
I mean, yeah, I am not here to convince anybody. I'm just letting you guys know Threads is the
yeah.
place to be. I mean, it really is. And I can totally tell when people like I don't even know how to describe it because you can have like the most serious things and then you can have stuff where it's just like, yo, are you good, man?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? Because you get the random person who doesn't understand that the things they post on Facebook auto post to threads based on however they have their settings.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so if
Oh,
you have
dog.
like the person so if you have that stereotypical person who like doesn't know how to use social media, so they'll still post on Facebook like, "Hey Carol, what time can you bring over
Yeah.
the sugar because I need to make the pound cake for Trevor's party tomorrow?"
Yeah.
Like they'll post that on Facebook.
And then it
That
goes to
same
threads.
person, they don't realize that it's on Threads. And the way people act on Threads is like way different
Yeah.
because on Threads, oh, we're gonna chime in.
Yeah.
'Cause then all of a sudden people just they're like, "Well, I don't know. Are you available tomorrow around 3 o'clock? I can come over." Like random people comment stuff. Let's see. On this particular thread, we are going to rehash something that
You gotta read
is
it
a
for the
common topic.
people.
Yeah, which is strength training, runners and strength training. So this person posted for the nth time, if you're a
Period.
recreational runner, period, for the nth time, if you're a recreational runner, one of many millions who's not a pro runner, myself included, you do not in all caps, you do not need to lift. You can be an excellent runner, including marathons, without strength training. You can be a consistent, injury free runner without lifting. Will you benefit from strength training? Sure. If you can find the time in this busy life, if you know how to lift correctly. But hobbies are not jobs. You can enjoy a hobby without falling victim to fear mongering gym bros. So, of course, I had to send this one to Kelly
There's so much
because,
to unpack here.
yeah, there is a lot to unpack. Why don't you start with where your head goes when you read that, and I'm going to present a couple of things for conversation that would be potentially what would be said if you were looking to strengthen his argument.
Um,
So, what you
well,
think?
one of my first thoughts is like, what gym bros are telling runners to lift? Because I haven't come across them. I don't think they care about
Okay.
runners.
The runners need to lift. Okay. Hold on. I'm
I'm
putting on my
guessing
like.
they'll just generally say people need to lift, but this guy seems to
Uh,
take it personally for runners.
I for sure. Okay. So I for sure have had. I remember. You know what? I had a previous client who was a runner. It won't really count because they came to me for strength training, but yeah, there's for sure an angle of content that would be out there that would if I'm somebody who is trying to target people who primarily just run, like they go for runs, they do cardio, things like that, and they're not strength training at all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I could see like skewing some content towards like you're increasing the risk of injury. I don't think I've seen this in quite some time. However, we used to hammer, like in the bodybuilding space, we used to hammer really hard on the whole, like how much wear and tear you were putting on your joints and your knees, especially. And that if you're not doing strength training, that's just going to get worse. And I remember the whole like literally pounding the pavement. You're putting X amount of force
Yeah.
with every foot strike and blah, blah, blah. So I'm
Okay.
gonna take it. Yeah, that for sure was out there somewhat.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what prompted him to write this? Like, what did
Well,
he see from the gym bros? But anyway,
let's move
that's neither
past.
here nor there.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he's got definitive statements. All right. So if you're a
Yeah.
recreational runner, you don't need to lift. You can be an excellent runner without strength training. So let me ask you that: do you agree with that? Can you be an excellent runner, including marathons, without strength training? Can you be a consistent injury-free runner without lifting? Generally, do you think somebody could be an excellent runner
Do
without
I
ever
think the
lifting?
majority of people can be excellent runners and consistently injury-free without strength training? No. Do I think there are enough exceptions that everyone thinks that's the rule? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's
Even
another thing.
pros. Like, I don't understand why he's just saying this about recreational runners because not all the pros lift. Um, at least in the trail space. That's still, we've
Mhm.
talked about it so many times. It's still up for debate on if pro trail runners need to be strength training, it seems. Maybe less so in like the marathon and road and track world. Like
Yeah,
with more people doing YouTube, most pros, you'll see them doing strength training, especially depending on their discipline, but even distance runners, like if you're a sprinter, you need to be strength training, I would say.
okay. Well,
Um, yeah, go
you want me
ahead.
to throw the arguments at you?
Why not?
Okay. 5 most common arguments according to
Oh yeah.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
How about that? That'll structure a little bit. All
Yeah.
right. So argument 1, specificity matters. So running makes you better at running. So the argument here is very simple. If your goal is to get better at running, your time is best spent running. You're focusing on things like aerobic capacity, running economy, and pacing. Those are the things that are going to improve most directly through running itself. And strength training is mostly indirect work that takes away from sport specific adaptation. So for limited schedules, anything that's non-running is really viewed as a lower ROI. So long story short, you don't need to major in the minors. So the argument is running makes you better at running. So if your goal is to get better in running, then your time is best spent running. What say you?
I don't completely disagree. Like,
Okay.
you gotta spend the time running to get better at running. For sure.
Okay.
And, like, if someone can only do 3 days a week of one
Yeah.
activity, especially well, if you wanna train for a marathon, I would highly recommend you don't. But, the longer the distance gets, if you have a packed schedule, then, yeah, I'd probably try to keep 1 strength day a week so that
Yeah.
you've got some things going on. Because one of my big issues with this is I feel like these arguments pretend that we all live in a bubble where it's like, I'm only lifting to get better at running. Like, I'm also lifting because I'm an aging human who wants to be strong in
Yeah.
old age too, and, like, that's one of my main issues with this. Like, if we're strictly talking about, do you need strength training to get better at running? The majority of people probably maybe don't, but we're all whole humans, and I would never tell the majority of humans not to strength train, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I
So,
mean, you already know where I sit on this stuff, so
yeah.
yeah.
That's, like, my
Okay.
main
Well,
issue
here's
with these things, though.
what? Say that again.
That's my main issue with these things, because
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
Somebody in the comments was like, "This is classic survivorship bias." It's like you nailed that big
Right.
time. Like, yeah, and it reminds me of something one of my friends said after she did a bikini show, and she was like, "I was like, what advice would you have for somebody if they were asking you?" Because she's an avid runner,
Mhm.
lifter, like does everything, like bionic woman, and she was like, "The main thing I would say is just because you can doesn't mean you should, and let me just
Yeah.
leave it at that." Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think she was training for a running event right around the same time. It was not a good
Crazy.
time for
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Some people just have really good genetics where they can run a lot and not get injured, and those are not the ones that we should be like, "See? See, you don't need to strength train."
Well, I'll give these 5 arguments. I think that this one, if we were ranking them, I think that that would be one of the stronger arguments that somebody could make
The
is
specificity
that,
one?
yeah, the
Yeah.
specificity one. Because I mean, that
Mhm.
it's, I could think of that really with any sport.
Yeah.
That's one that I don't know that if I'm trying to navigate somebody to start implementing, strength training, just implement
Mhm.
strength training into their routine, regardless of the sport, the point that I would be trying to argue or, yeah, argue against would not be that one,
Yeah.
basically. Like, if you give me 5, like, I'll give the 5 arguments. There's some things, like, I consider myself to be a pretty solid, like, um, I don't know if negotiator is the word. I do think that I can be pretty solid when it comes to, like, we disagree on certain things. At the end of the day, I would still like you to at least like try this thing. And
Yeah.
I'm very like selective on what things I'm going to use to try to convince you. The whole like, well, specificity matters. I'm actually not going to argue with that. Like if my son was like, Dad, I want to get better at basketball. And I'm like, all right, then we need to start strength training 5 times a week or whatever. And he's like, well, no, my coach said I need to practice more. It's like, well, I can't argue. You probably do need to shoot more.
Yeah.
So,
So I do have one counter argument
yeah.
to the specificity
Uh huh.
thing. Um, usually in running training, as you get closer to the race, you get more specific. So across the year itself, and then across years of time, I would argue, specificity does matter, but you should periodize it. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Periodize?
You
Yes.
did. Periodize. Yep.
Um,
You did.
with
You be
strength
speaking.
training, so, like, at certain times of the year, sure, running takes precedent. At certain times of the year, strength training should take precedent because most people aren't running, you know,
Yeah.
race training full time all year long.
Gotcha.
So that is, like, a nuance that that argument doesn't capture, and this thread poster.
Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll get to the other ones.
Yeah.
Argument number 2, time and recovery are limited. So recreational runners usually have jobs, families, and inconsistent schedules. adding lifting is just going to add more fatigue and more time demand. And then that fatigue could then start to compromise your key runs, like your longer runs and your interval stuff. So the trade-off becomes, would I rather lift or feel better on tomorrow's run? So something has to give, and strength training is the easiest thing to cut. So the argument being time and recovery are limited.
I think those are two different things. Um,
Okay.
if someone has the space to add strength training, like not thinking about recovery, then the other argument, in my opinion, is no. If you plan your week well, your strength training will not interfere with your quality sessions. Your strength training can interfere with your easy runs, but the point of those is to be easy enough to be an aerobic run. So like you don't need to be fully recovered for them.
Which unlocks a common problem that, that
Right.
happens too. The
Yeah.
easy runs not being easy. Yeah.
So I think that argument is not a good one.
Okay.
Unless
So
the
that's when you'd go after.
yeah, unless the person is like, I want to run 5 days a week and I can't
I'd say
fit.
for most people, this tends to be a 3 day a week thing. Like they have 3 days that they can get some activity in. Just my point of view in working with many humans
Yeah.
over a decade, the sweet spot tends to be consistently. I'm not saying like nobody ever does more,
Yeah.
but I would say the general person who is not like fitness, like they don't have skin in the fitness game, like they don't also side hustle and train people and things like that. I'd say the average person, they have 3 days of movement they can get in on average,
I would
I would say.
disagree for runners.
Okay.
I think runners
We can just,
skew higher.
okay.
Um, my bias is,
You're saying people who identify as recreational runners?
well, recreational is a big bucket. I am a
Yeah. I don't want
recreational
to,
runner.
yeah, I know it's easy for me to like nuance. Um,
I'm just saying a
yeah, I'm
lot of,
talking like the general, I'm just talking like your average person generally tends to, again, this is just from
yeah, but he's
my
specifically talking about
anecdotally.
runners.
Yeah, I got you.
Like I
I
would say
got
the
you.
average runner is probably more 4 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
then you got the higher end of like people like me who run like 6 days a week,
Hmm.
marathon trainers, ultra runners,
Yeah.
and then you've got the more
Yeah. I don't think you fit
newer.
his category.
I'm a recreational runner though, so I do.
I. Yeah. I think. Okay. I'm gonna
Millions
be
is
straight
not
up
a
with you.
pro runner. Am I a pro runner?
I. Okay.
So, uh,
I will tell you
running is my hobby.
that I understand. I completely understand. Um. You know how. You know how typically, I think you've picked up on this, that people will say stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, before we get into it, when you're saying recreational, what to you is recreational running? And then,
Yeah.
like, because
Did
I
you
always ask
respond
for
to
some
him?
clarification, right? No, absolutely not, because I wasn't gonna. No, no, not at all. Um, so I think that I would not be shocked if if you were to ask him, hey, so just if you could just kind of help me understand before I go any further, when you say recreational runner, what's your recreational runner? And if you were to then say, like, so I run like 5 to 6 days per week. I'm a former coach and I've run an ultra and all this, that, yeah, I don't want to make like go semantics and whatnot. I'm just telling you that from my perspective, so I'm just sharing from my perspective, folks are not looking at someone who runs 6 days a week as 5 to 6 days a week as a recreational runner. Yeah,
He would tell me I don't need to strike train.
he's plot twist or spoiler alert. Like, I think this dude's like way off anyway. Cause I
Mm.
don't think that he has like, there can be people who post a lot about fitness who, this is not specific to him. There can be, I find there are a decent amount of people who post a lot about fitness, like a lot,
Yeah.
who don't train people. They
Yeah.
don't coach people. Like there's a couple of folks who I had had some interaction with on Threads, assuming that they were coaches, and they were not coaches. Because at there was even one, I can't remember what the post was, but I got into the comments and then I just said, I said, "Hey, I hear you. I'm just saying from my point of view." Oh, it was a guy who had said that no one should do squats or deadlifts unless they were a competitive lifter. And I
That's funny. Okay.
I was like, so we get into like, a little back and forth, like different comments. And one of my final comments was, I was like, I'm just going to be straight up with you, man. Like, I can't fathom a world where I would tell a client not to get into a squatting pattern or a hinging pattern and actually
That's
care about
crazy.
their well being.
Mhm.
And that's when he responded like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry if I gave you the impression that I was a trainer or whatnot." I'm like, "Mother bear, you're on like Beyonce's internet telling people that no one needs to squat or deadlift if they're not a power lifter."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, whatever, man." So anyways, all
Yeah.
right, let's
So
go back.
anyways, I
Yeah,
think the argument that there is not time in the week to strength train without
do both.
interfering with quality runs is bullshit.
Okay. Period. Argument 3.
Yeah.
Most recreational runners aren't pushing performance limits anyway. If somebody's running 2 to 4 times a week just for health, stress relief, or completing races, um, then it's not something that's necessary. They're not really trying to chase marginal gains. They're not trying to shave minutes off of their PRs. They can still finish races just fine. They can stay active and feel pretty good without lifting. So that underlying belief is that strength training solves problems that many recreational runners don't actually have.
I would highly disagree with that. That argument assumes that we only strength train for running performance gains, which is not true. It does help
Yeah.
with running performance, depending on your event and like where your weaknesses and stuff are.
Yeah.
But I would say strength training is more so for
Yeah.
like reducing injury risk and making sure that you're a strong runner and you can absorb all of your running training without breaking down. Especially one thing this person doesn't mention, which I'd be curious, in the age of the super shoe, I think strength training has become more important because the super shoe, depending on how your normal running gait is, it changes it. So suddenly, if you're running in a super shoe, you are absorbing load in places where typically you would not be. Um, and obviously, like, maybe not obviously, if you venture into super shoes, you really should not run in them every single day. And you
Hmm.
should like ease into wearing them. So that's why a lot of people wear them for key workouts and races, which is what I do. But yeah, it shifts your running gait and where you'll usually hear some people will feel more aches like higher up the chain because the the shoe is stiffer, so there's less ankle dorsiflexion, and it's like requiring like your quads and hamstrings to do more. I'm just like moving it up to your hip and the knee. Um, so like you want all these things to be strong, and that super shoes won't apply to this argument because if you're not chasing performance gains, you probably are not buying a $200 to $300 shoe specifically for races. Um, but yeah, I no, I really disagree.
Okay.
All right, what's
Fair
next?
enough. All right. I'm gonna try and keep a straight face when I say this.
I think I remember this one was a bad one, but I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was, even though it's only been 50 minutes
Here, I'm
since you
gonna
told me.
play the part. Here we go.
Okay.
Bro, I need to run. Running already builds sufficient leg strength. Sorry, I tried.
I
Um,
forgot.
so
Yeah.
running already builds sufficient leg strength. Running provides repetitive load. Or what's it say? This is where people blur definitions of strength. So running provides repetitive load for the lower body. Over time, runners do develop muscular endurance and some degree of strength, especially for newer runners. Just run consistently leads to noticeable adaptation. So the argument becomes, Why add more when the activity itself is already building what you need? So running is enough of a stimulus for the demands that you'll need for recreational running. So running gives you all the strength that you're going to need in order to run.
Yeah. No. Doesn't. Um, I mean, you do get muscular endurance. It is a repetitive motion, but you have other muscles that should also be worked. And that's why like a lot of runners should be in their strength training doing like lateral movements and twisting movements, because in running we don't do any of that. We just move. We move in a straight line. And it's very repetitive, and repetitive things increase your risk of injury because you're just doing the same thing over and over.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think we need to go down the.
No. Well,
I recently did a post on this, like a quick snippet.
well, the other thing I want to add is that a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, a common injury is like stress fracture in your pelvis or sacrum. Not super common, but anything up there, like running is not helping with your bone density up there. Like you need to load your spine um in order to make that stronger. And obviously not everyone is at risk for a stress fracture in that area. That's a pretty bad place to get a stress fracture, and usually from what I've heard points more to like red S, like you're not fueling enough. But
Oh,
yeah, like I can't remember where the like bone density benefits stop from running, because pounding you get some of it, but like your spine it's not doing anything. And yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just remember, yeah, the Instagram. I posted a reel where, because I've had people before. Ironically, the most recent one was a guy who was like, I don't really do. I was asking him about his current program, and he did like, I think he did upper body like 3 days a week, and then like ran. And I was like, so do you? How do you feel about doing lower body? Is that on purpose? He's like, I'm pretty much on my feet all day. So that's pretty much like leg day. Between that and running, I figure I'm probably taking care of what I need to. It's like, oh, okay. So yeah, we didn't work together. He did not, he
Crazy.
did not, yeah, he like literally was not willing to put in leg exercise. Like just was not willing to. Like
Wow.
it's no problem. Yeah. So,
Wild.
um,
All right, what's
but
the last
couldn't
one?
figure out like why it had nagging injuries all the time.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
shocking. Yeah.
Shocking.
Last one. Plenty of runners succeed without lifting. So anecdotal argument, but it's powerful. So people know runners or are runners who never lift. They stay injury free or at least functional, and they complete races regularly. So strength training starts to feel optional rather than essential. So if it's not clearly required to succeed, then it's not necessary. So essentially going based on our
Yeah.
anecdotal evidence, this also would be in line with that first one with like, well, if I want to get better at running, I should be spending more time in running.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time working on trying to combat someone's anecdotal evidence, because that's almost, to me, that's almost like the most difficult thing
Yeah.
to disprove, that like what you've experienced doesn't equal the reality of like,
Yeah.
oh, this is probably how this movie is probably going to end for you. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't,
I mean, I don't think
I've never had a problem.
yeah, I don't think knowing people or seeing people who don't strength train succeed in running is a valid enough argument,
Yeah.
especially like the things you have to take into consideration if you're like, okay, they don't strength train, should I not strength train? Is like, what does their life look like compared to yours? Like, if we're looking at influencers who don't have a day job and can do whatever they want whenever they want, like they probably have a lot less stress than the average adult who's working a full-time job and training for a race. Um, which, that will impact how much you should run and like preventative measures for injuries. So it's like that, and like how old are they? Like we can't go off 20-year-olds. If you're in your 20s, you can probably not strength train and be fine, you know?
I
Um,
just, whenever it's come to any sort of argument where someone is bringing someone else into the equation,
yeah.
anytime that has been the thing, I have, uh, let me not say always, I try as hard as I can to have it be my default to be like, that is fantastic for them. If we want to focus on them, why have they, like, what can you specifically tell me about their decision to, for example, not strength train? Like, why don't they strength train?
Hmm.
Well, I don't know. Okay. So until we know that, that's not really information that's helpful for us. So let's redirect this back to what is your life like and what
Hmm.
do you have going on? And then the primary thing that I'm really going to dig into is, what do you think will be worse by implementing
Mm.
4 exercises a week? Like,
Yeah.
help me understand what's going to be worse.
Hmm.
Like, what won't do better? And the arguments that I've been given in the past are some semblance of some of these. Um, None of them have turned out to come to fruition. Like, for people who've actually done it, whether we've implemented 4 exercises per week or 2 workouts per week. Because sometimes, like back in the day, I remember one of the very first clients that I had was referred to me and ended up like eventually just didn't want to do it, but at least tried it for a little while. And I just remember it was like the biggest struggle because they were like, I know that I need to gain strength, but I don't want to strength train. So
Mm.
it's just like, well, let's start with 4 exercises. So literally that's what we did. Like on 2 days, I was like, do these 2 strength exercises and then you can go for your run.
Mm.
And even that was like this massive struggle. But one of the things that they did present that I have heard from people is that they were just like, well, one of the things that could be worse is I'll be sore and then I won't be as recovered for my run, which is kind of one of the
Yeah.
arguments that was in this thing. So basically, like, yeah, well, when I strength train, I could get sore. And the way that I explain that is, well, it, especially if you keep skipping doing strength training, then yes, you probably will because you're not adapting to it. Are you telling me that when you first started running longer distances, you weren't sore?
Yeah. Or
Well,
like
yeah, I
tired.
was. Yeah, and you adapted to that, right? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's different. Sister, it
Mm-mm.
is not. Brother, it is not. It
No.
is not just women. P.S. Not at all.
No. I
Not at all.
mean, this was a man that posted this on Thread, so
Dudes are some of the main ones who hit me
yeah.
with the "I'm on my feet all day." So that counts as leg day. I did scroll down. We're going to be closing out here. I did scroll down further in this post, and there for sure was was a there was a part where basically he mentioned some sort of reference to context. Yeah. There was somebody who was like, felt like raging in the strength training. Okay, I'm sorry if I annoyed you. Here we go. A response to countless posts emphasizing lifting over actual running. And like I said,
Mm-mm.
literal fear mongering. So likely it sounds like he was triggered, where probably saw a post that
Yeah.
emphasized lifting over running. For sure, I have for sure been in that camp that's emphasized lifting over going over cardio
Hmm.
because generally the population that I spend the most time with are people who've overemphasized cardio and typically poor quality cardio as a weight loss tool
Yeah.
and neglected strength training. So
Yeah. I just want to
go lift
say,
weights, people.
yeah,
Go lift
runners,
weights.
I don't know. Runners are the cohort I've heard it the most from that are afraid of being sore. It is not the worst thing in the world if you're sore and you go for a run. Like, it's like the worst thing that can happen to them, and I just don't understand. So we need to, like, runners, we need to stop being afraid of being sore. It's fine. It is fine to be a little tired on one of your easy runs because you're sore from strength training or a speed workout or a race or long run.
Yeah. All right. Go
Yeah.
lift weights, people. Go
Yeah.
lift
Go
weights.
lift weights, especially if
Um,
you're a woman.
uh, oh shoot. So I'm on whatchamacallit. I'm on I had pulled up threads on my computer so that I could find the post, and then I clicked back and there was
Yeah.
like a back and forth. Oh, this guy deleted his post.
Oof. I've been there.
Not this guy, like a different
A
one.
different guy.
There was this Yeah, there was this guy, he made a post something along the lines of like, why are you like basically like why are you people even wasting your time coming to the gym and not even giving like much of an effort? You
Mhm.
do like 17 reps to try and make it look like you got a pump, and then you take a bunch of selfies in the mirror or something like that.
Dang.
And somebody, I'll tell you this real quick and then we'll head out. So somebody was like, what does that even mean? Like asking him.
Yeah.
And so he clarified, he said, not a hair out of place, dry as the desert, and no redness in their face. So I was like, I commented, I said, bro, exactly how much time do you spend looking at other people at the gym? His comment, this guy cracked me up. His response was same as everyone else. I
What?
glance everywhere from time to time. It's just something we see out of the corner of our eyes. It's hard to miss. You try to make it seem like I seek them out. I'm almost done. So I responded, last sentence nailed it, my guy. You see what you're looking for. In my opinion, there's a difference between what you see and how you assign meaning to it. I hope folks who read your posts don't assume most people who see them aren't also making up stories about them like you are. Because he's clearly like, bro,
Yeah.
calm down. So his last comment was, I see what's around me because I don't want to trip on weights. I need to ask my fellow gym goers if they let using that machine and or fill up my water bottle. It's okay to look up and be aware of your surroundings. You're looking too deep into it, way too deep. It's almost as if I've offended you by thinking out loud. Okay, this is the second person within the past probably week or so where if I've responded to something with a similar vibe, they've been like, it's not that deep,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I am definitely somebody who has been known to overcomplicate something that doesn't need to be complicated
Uh-huh.
and go like further down the rabbit hole. Um, the feedback that I've gotten so far from the people who I intend to like read what I write is that they're like, yeah, what you're commenting on is actually the stuff that creeps me out at the gym or makes me feel like these are the things that people are thinking. And so that's if you happen to see me on threads and I start going in on something like that, it's because I'm just done. Like I'm completely done with having conversations with people where they are like, yeah, they're letting douchebags like this basically dictate whether or not they're going to go to the gym, whether or not they're going to do their exercises, whether or not they're going to ask like, hey, do you mind if I work in with you? Whether they're going to ask like, hey, are you done with those weights and whatnot?
Yeah.
And yeah, this guy just cracked me up because to all of a sudden make it like, well, sometimes I do need to look around to see if I need to fill up my water bottle.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, like you went from talking about how people aren't sweating and they don't have red faces to your water bottle. All right, then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not to
I don't know.
mention, not everyone has that reaction to working out.
It just there's to me it's very very basic. When I am at the gym, I 100% I am looking around all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I think I've told you this before. That's why sometimes I take my glasses off because then I can't see what's happening around me. But especially when I'm at like a commercial gym, I'm on the treadmill, I'm looking
Mm.
around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking around. However, the majority of the time, I'm looking around from an observational standpoint. Like I am a coach, I am a trainer.
Mm.
This is the world that I literally am obsessed with being in.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm going to look around. What I don't do is decide to put together a whole like 3-part trilogy about what type of person they are
Yeah.
because they don't have the optimal angle for a bicep curl.
Yeah.
And that's what like some of these folks are doing. They're like, God, some of you all just be in the gym, just wasting time doing a bunch of exercises at blah, blah, blah. And I was like, speaking of wasting time, how
Mhm.
long did it take you to type this out when you could have just been focused on yourself, man?
Mhm.
Like, that's
I
where we're at.
I do think about that in relation to
Ugh.
certain exercises that I've seen runners do. Mostly
Mm,
pros. Like the one I think of is like a quarter squat. Um
mhm,
and I remember one, I think it was Emma Coburn. I think she posted her workout years ago. She was doing quarter squats, um, and focusing, I want to say, trying to remember if it was like racked high and she was like focusing on pushing it up, powerfully, or like just
yeah,
doing the quarter. I don't remember the context. But the men in her comments were like, "You're not going to depth," and she was like, I'm working in the range of motion that my sport requires. Like this is specific to
yeah,
the steeplechase. Like just because you see me doing a quarter squat doesn't mean I can't squat to parallel. Like that's just not the purpose of what I'm doing. That's what your story reminded me of, like assigning
yeah,
people's intentions without knowing what they're actually trying to do just by looking at what
yeah,
they're doing.
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I've made this point, like, umpteen times before, and I'm fully convinced, like, I won't die on the hill, but I'll at least, like, sign a long-term lease there, that social media just has us way too comfortable with filling in the blanks of what
Yeah.
people's lives are. Like, I was literally thinking about this truly this morning, where I was like, your average social media clip, you probably spend 10 seconds on it.
If that.
Take your, if that, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the person that you follow religiously, if you were to take 1 year and you add up the amount of time you spent on that person's content over 1 year, I don't even know if it would equal more than 2 days.
Yeah.
I really wonder, like, if you think, even if you were to think like, okay, I think this is even over exaggerating. Let's say you spend 2 minutes, which no way, but you spend 2 minutes a day
Yeah.
on the one person's page every single day for 356 days. What's that? 712?
That's quick
Because
math.
350 and 350 is 700 plus 6 and 6 is 12, right? So
7:30.
700 and what?
2 minutes, 365 days a year,
Yeah.
730 minutes.
Can I not do math?
I'm literally using a calculator, so
Oh, I definitely said 365 and was going 356. So 730 minutes
yeah,
divided by 60, 12.16. Let's round it
12
way up
hours.
to 13. That's 13 hours. 13 hours.
Yeah,
And think of all the stuff that we, like, I'm guilty of this too. Well, I won't say guilty. Like, I do the same thing. Like,
yeah,
I think that I have a good idea of what's going on with that particular person or what their vibe is or whatnot based on 13 hours of annual interaction.
yeah.
Like, that's the stuff that's just wild to me. And I think we grossly over exaggerated the 2 minutes per day and whatnot every day. So I don't know.
On average, I we probably have overestimated. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I'm at least trying to,
if we're taking
but
into account
13
like
hours.
YouTubers, it'll be higher. But
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I'm mostly talking like Instagram, of course, because that's
yeah,
where I
yeah,
spend like most of my time. So
yeah,
yeah, I just think about that. Like we put together these assumptions
yeah,
about people based on literally less than a full hour's worth or full day's worth of content in an entire year.
yeah,
It's, it's wild. Basically, to sum it up, lift weights, get outside and touch grass,
yeah.
talk to actual people. This has been episode 74 of Lifting, Running, and Living. She'll let you know where to find us if you want to reach out.
If you are on Instagram and you want to spend 2 minutes per day every day on our profile, it is lifting, running, living pod. Nothing really happens, so I don't know what you're gonna do for 2 minutes a day, but I'm sure you can find something. We've got reels up there you can go through. Or you can email us at liftingrunningLivingpod@gmail.com.
There you go. Email us. Set aside 2 minutes per day to email us. Let us know how you're doing.
Yeah,
All
we'll crush
right.
your bot.
We appreciate you listening. Thank you. Take care, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.